All right. Gearing up for a leather finishing operations manager interview.
Huh?
That's a pretty cool gig.
Huh.
We're going to take a deep dive into what this role really involves, and we're going to give you the know-how to handle those tough interview questions.
And we'll throw in some tips on how RoleCatcher can help you tailor your answers.
Like a pro.
Right.
Okay, so first things first. What is the interviewer really looking for when they ask? Describe your experience in managing leather finishing operations.
Well, this is your chance to really showcase your expertise. You don't want to just rattle off job titles, right? Instead, walk them through the scope of your responsibilities, the size of the teams that you've led, the types of leather goods you've worked with.
So for someone just starting out as a leather finishing operations assistant, maybe they would focus on assisting with the daily tasks and getting hands-on with equipment.
Exactly. They might say something like, I gained practical experience assisting with daily operations, becoming proficient in monitoring chemical inventory and operating finishing equipment.
So they're highlighting those hands-on skills that they have.
Yes.
And as you move up to a coordinator role, it's more about keeping things running smoothly. What kind of details should they emphasize then?
A coordinator could say, I coordinated activities to ensure smooth operations, focusing on timely chemical supply deliveries, managing equipment maintenance, and training new staff.
So now they're showcasing organizational skills and the fact that they can juggle multiple responsibilities.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about someone at the supervisor level? How does their answer change?
A supervisor would step it up by saying, I oversaw daily operations, implemented standard operating procedures, conducted quality control inspections, and collaborated with other departments for a seamless workflow.
Now they're demonstrating their understanding of process improvement and that big picture view of the production chain.
Right.
So by the time you reach that manager level, it's about strategic thinking and pushing the department forward.
Absolutely. A seasoned manager might say, I was responsible for planning and organizing work for optimal performance. I managed chemical and equipment inventory supervised staff and developed strategic initiatives to drive departmental growth.
Okay, so they're highlighting leadership, strategic thinking, and that results-oriented mindset.
Yes.
This is already super helpful. And here's where RoleCatcher's AI can really shine, because it can help you tailor your answers based on keywords from the specific job description.
That's right. Laser-focused precision.
It takes the guesswork out of it.
Yes.
It does. Now let's shift gears to another common question. How would you approach improving the quality of leather products in the finishing process?
This one's all about problem solving and your understanding of the finishing process. They want to see if you can pinpoint areas for improvement and offer solutions.
So complaining about the current process is a big no-no.
Absolutely. Instead, showcase your analytical thinking. Start by outlining your general approach. Something like, my approach to quality improvement begins with pinpointing the root cause of any issues. This might involve data analysis inspections and gathering feedback from the team.
Then you get specific.
Yes.
Okay. So what are some common quality issues in leather finishing, and how would you tackle them?
Well, one common headache is inconsistent coloring. To address this, you could discuss implementing stricter quality checks on dye batches, standardizing application techniques, or investing in color measurement tools.
What about surface defects, like scratches or wrinkles? Those seem tricky to fix after the fact.
They can be. You could suggest improving handling procedures earlier in the production process or exploring new finishing techniques that minimize those imperfections. Staying current on industry trends and technologies is key here.
And speaking of which, RoleCatcher's career guides can be a goldmine of information on those trends.
Absolutely.
Another potential problem is the environmental impact. So how would you address that?
You could discuss implementing sustainable practices like eco-friendly chemicals, minimizing water usage, and exploring waste reduction strategies.
Sustainability is such a hot topic. Interviewers are definitely going to want to know you're thinking about that.
For sure.
Okay, on to the next question. How do you ensure that the leather finishing process meets production targets? What are they really after here?
This is about balancing quality with productivity. They want to see if you can meet deadlines without sacrificing those high standards.
So it's that classic juggling act that many operations managers face.
You nailed it. Start by outlining your approach to production planning. You could say, I set clear production targets and communicate them effectively to the team. This involves breaking down larger goals into manageable tasks with realistic timelines.
But what about those inevitable hiccups? How do you handle unexpected delays or bottlenecks?
That's where your problem-solving skills shine again. Explain how you monitor progress, Identify potential snags early on and take swift corrective action. This might involve adjusting schedules, reallocating resources, or even collaborating with other departments to find solutions.
So a good answer might include specific examples of how you've successfully navigated those situations in the past.
Exactly. Describe a time when you reorganized workflow to meet a tight deadline or implemented a new tracking system for better progress monitoring. Quantifiable results are always impactful. Saying, by implementing X, I increased production output by Y% really makes a statement.
And of course, we can't forget the people involved. Motivating your team to hit those targets is crucial.
Absolutely. Touch on your leadership style and how you foster a positive, productive environment. This could include clear instructions, regular feedback, and recognizing achievements. Remember, a motivated team is a productive team.
That makes so much sense. Let's dive into another technical question. Can you describe your experience with leather finishing chemicals? What's the best way to approach this one?
Here's where your technical expertise takes center stage. The interviewer wants to gauge your understanding of the specific chemicals used in the process.
So it's not enough to just say, I've worked with chemicals before. You need to get down to the nitty-gritty.
Precisely. Mention the types you're familiar with, dyes, pigments, top coat sealants, and briefly explain their purpose and application. For example, you could say, I have extensive experience working with aniline dyes to achieve rich natural colors. I'm also well versed in applying polyurethane top coats for durability and surface protection.
What if they ask about specific brands or suppliers? What if you haven't worked with those exact ones?
If you know them, great. If not, honesty is key. Say something like, while I'm not familiar with that specific brand, I'm always eager to learn about new products and technologies. Showcasing your willingness to learn is a big plus.
And of course, safety is paramount when working with chemicals.
Absolutely. Touch on your knowledge of safety procedures, proper handling techniques, and how you ensure a safe working environment for your team. This demonstrates responsibility and concern for their well-being.
It also shows you understand the potential hazards involved. Okay, let's move on to a question that's becoming increasingly important. How do you ensure that the leather finishing process meets environmental regulations? What are some key points to address here?
This one highlights your awareness of the environmental impact of leather finishing and the steps you take to minimize it. It's not just about ticking boxes, it's about genuine environmental responsibility.
So how do you convey that you're taking it seriously?
Start by acknowledging the importance of environmental regulations in the industry. You could say something like, I understand that leather finishing can impact the environment, and I'm committed to sustainable and responsible operations.
Then get specific about the measures you take to reduce the environmental footprint.
Exactly. You might talk about using water-based finishes instead of solvent-based ones to reduce VOC emissions. Or implementing a system for proper waste disposal, including treating wastewater and recycling leather scraps.
What about energy efficiency? That seems relevant too.
You're right. Discuss using energy-efficient equipment and optimizing processes to reduce energy consumption.
And I imagine staying informed about new technologies and best practices is crucial. Would you agree?
Absolutely. You could say, I actively research and implement new technologies and practices to minimize our environmental impact. I also stay updated on industry regulations to ensure our operations are compliant. Demonstrating that proactive approach and dedication to sustainability will really impress them.
It shows you're committed to responsible business practices, which matters more and more to companies and their customers. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on environmental regulations. Let's move on to another question that delves into your leadership skills. Can you describe a time when you had to resolve a conflict within your team? This one can be tricky, right?
It can be. The interviewer is looking for how you handle tough situations and maintain a positive team dynamic. Avoid bad-mouthing anyone involved. Focus on the steps you took to resolve the conflict constructively.
So set the scene and highlight the different perspectives involved. What would that sound like?
You could say, there was a disagreement between two team members about the best way to apply a particular finish. One preferred a spray gun, while the other favored traditional hand brushing.
Okay, that's a clear example. Then walk them through the steps you took to find a resolution.
You could continue with, I facilitated an open discussion for each team member to express their concerns and rationale. We then explored the pros and cons of each method, considering efficiency, quality, and cost.
Did you end up choosing one method over the other, or was there a compromise?
Ideally, you aim for a win-win. You might say, we did a trial run using both methods to compare the results objectively. This data-driven approach helped us reach a consensus and choose the best method for that specific situation.
That's smart. It shows you're open to different approaches and willing to let the data guide the decision.
Exactly. And emphasize the positive outcome. You could say, the conflict resolution process actually led to a more collaborative and efficient workflow.
Turning a conflict into a learning opportunity that's impressive leadership. Okay, on to another important topic. How do you ensure that the leather finishing process is safe for your team? Safety is a huge deal in any manufacturing environment, especially one involving chemicals.
Absolutely. They want to see that you take safety seriously and create a culture of safety within your department.
So it's not just about saying safety is important. You need to demonstrate a proactive approach.
Right. Start by outlining your overall safety philosophy. You could say, I believe everyone deserves a safe working environment, and I take all necessary precautions to ensure their well-being.
That sets a good foundation. Then get specific about the concrete steps you take to promote safety in the finishing process.
You could talk about comprehensive safety training for all team members, ensuring they understand the hazards associated with chemicals and equipment. Emphasize wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, gloves, masks, respirators, and so on.
And regular safety inspections and audits are crucial too.
Absolutely. You could mention conducting routine inspections to identify potential hazards and ensure safety procedures are being followed. You could also talk about implementing a system for reporting and addressing any safety concerns raised by team members.
It's about creating that culture where safety is everyone's responsibility.
Exactly. You could say, I encourage open communication about safety issues. I want everyone to feel comfortable reporting concerns without fear of repercussions.
And staying updated on safety regulations is essential too.
Of course. Mention your commitment to staying informed about the latest safety standards and implementing any necessary changes to ensure compliance.
By showcasing that comprehensive and proactive approach to safety, you demonstrate that you're a responsible leader who prioritizes their team's well-being. Now let's shift gears to another key aspect of the role. How do you ensure that the leather finishing process meets quality standards?
This question is your opportunity to highlight your meticulous attention to detail and your understanding of quality control processes. They want to see if you can consistently deliver high-quality finished leather goods that meet customer expectations.
So it's about more than just a quick visual inspection.
Right. While visual checks are important, a robust quality control system involves multiple layers. Start by outlining your general approach to quality assurance. You might say, I believe in implementing a comprehensive quality control system that covers all stages of the finishing process, from incoming materials inspection to final product evaluation.
Then get specific about the key elements of your quality control system. What are some examples?
You could talk about establishing clear quality standards and specifications for each type of leather and finish. This might involve defining acceptable color tolerances, surface finishes, and performance characteristics.
And how do you ensure those standards are being met consistently?
That's where regular inspections and testing come in. You could mention conducting inspections at various points in the process to check for defects, inconsistencies, and compliance with standards. This might involve using color measurement tools, surface testing equipment, and other specialized instruments.
Data also plays a crucial role in tracking quality trends and identifying areas for improvement.
Absolutely. You could talk about implementing a system for recording and analyzing quality data. This might involve using statistical process control techniques to monitor process variability and identify trends that indicate a need for corrective action.
It's all about having that system in place to catch potential issues early on.
Exactly. And don't forget the human element. Mention the importance of training your team on quality control procedures and empowering them to identify and report any quality issues they encounter.
A well-trained and engaged team is essential for maintaining those high standards. Now let's tackle a question that digs into your decision-making process. Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision related to the leather finishing process?
The classic behavioral question. These are designed to assess your decision-making skills, problem-solving abilities, and leadership style under pressure.
So it's not just about the decision itself, it's about how you arrived at it. What makes for a good example here?
Choose an example that showcases your critical thinking, your ability to weigh options and make sound judgments, even when faced with limited information or a challenging situation.
Can you give us a specific scenario that would work well for this question?
You could talk about a time when you had to choose between two finishing methods with different trade-offs. For example, one might be more efficient but have a slightly higher environmental impact, while the other is more sustainable but takes longer and costs more.
Yeah, that's a tough call. How would you walk them through your decision-making process?
You could say, I first gathered all relevant information, including data on each method's efficiency costs and environmental impact. I also consulted with team members and experts to get their input and perspectives.
So you didn't make the decision in isolation. You sought out different viewpoints.
Exactly. Show that you value collaboration and seek input from others. Then explain how you weighed the pros and cons of each option and the criteria you used to make the final call.
What if you face pushback or resistance to your decision? That's bound to happen sometimes.
It's likely. If that happened, you could say, I explained my rationale clearly and transparently to everyone involved, addressing their concerns and ensuring they understood the reasoning behind my decision.
And ultimately, you made the decision you believed was in the best interest of the company and the team.
Right, and highlight the positive outcome. You could say, while it was a difficult decision, it led to a more sustainable finishing process without compromising quality or efficiency.
Turning a challenging situation into a positive result is a hallmark of effective leadership.
It is. And don't forget, RoleCatcher can give you personalized feedback on your answer. It can analyze your response for clarity, conciseness, and relevance to the specific job description, helping you fine-tune your delivery.
That's such a valuable tool to have in your back pocket. Speaking of leadership, let's move on to the final question for this segment. Can you describe your experience in managing a team in the leather finishing process? This one brings us full circle back to leadership and team management.
It does. The interviewer wants to see if you can build a high-performing team, motivate your members, and create a positive and productive work environment.
So it's not just about delegating tasks. It's about fostering teamwork and collaboration. What's the best way to approach this one?
Start by highlighting your leadership style. Are you more hands-on, or do you prefer to empower your team members to take ownership? You could say, I believe in creating a collaborative and supportive work environment where everyone feels valued and empowered to contribute their best.
Okay, so you're setting the tone for your leadership approach. Then get specific about the strategies you use to manage your team effectively.
You could talk about setting clear expectations and goals for the team, providing regular feedback and coaching, and recognizing and rewarding achievements.
Communication is also crucial for keeping everyone on the same page and ensuring smooth operations.
Right. You could mention your approach to communication. Do you prefer regular team meetings, one-on-one check-ins, or a combination of both? You could say, I believe in open and transparent communication. I encourage team members to share their ideas and concerns, and I make sure everyone is kept informed about any updates or changes.
That sounds like a solid foundation for effective communication.
Oh.
But what about those times when you have to deal with conflict or underperformance within the team? Those are never easy situations to navigate.
That's true. They are an important part of team management, though. You could briefly touch on your approach to addressing those issues. For example, you might say, I address conflicts promptly and fairly, focusing on finding solutions that benefit the team as a whole. I also provide support and guidance to team members who are struggling to meet expectations.
It's all about creating that positive and productive team dynamic where everyone can thrive.
Exactly. And remember to tie your answer back to the leather finishing process itself. How has your leadership style and team management approach contributed to achieving quality, efficiency, and safety goals in the finishing department?
That's a great point. By highlighting your accomplishments and the positive impact you've had on the team and the company, you'll leave a lasting impression on the interviewer. Now, before we move on to the next batch of questions, let's take a moment to talk about career paths in this field.
This role can be a fantastic springboard for your career. With experience and continued learning, you can aim for senior management positions or even director-level roles.
And this is where RoleCatcher's career guides come in handy. They provide a roadmap for your professional journey, covering everything from core skills development to staying ahead of industry trends.
They're a fantastic resource. They not only help you prepare for this interview, but also give you the tools to map out your long-term career goals in the leather finishing industry.
I love that. So while we're diving deep into interview prep, it's important to remember that this is just one step in your career journey.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way, from landing that first interview to achieving your long-term career aspirations.
Okay. Let's take a quick... When we come back, we'll tackle some more challenging interview questions and explore how RoleCatcher's AI can help you craft those perfect answers.
All right, let's jump back into those interview questions. This next one can throw some people off. What are your salary expectations for this leather finishing operations manager role?
Ooh, That's the one everyone dreads. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah.
You don't want to sell yourself short, but you also don't want to price yourself out of the running.
Exactly. Here's the thing. Before you even step into the interview, do your research. Use resources like RoleCatcher to understand the typical salary range for this position in your location with your level of experience.
So RoleCatcher can actually give me insights into salary benchmarks.
It can.
That's super helpful.
It's a game changer. Now, when you answer this question in the interview, be honest and confident. You could say, based on my research and experience, I'm targeting a salary range of X to Y.
What if they press you for a specific number, though?
You can gently steer them back to the range, emphasizing that it's based on your research and what you bring to the table. You could say, I'm flexible and open to discussion, but I'm confident that my skills and experience align with the range I've mentioned.
I like that.
No.
It shows you're open to negotiation, but also firm on your value.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears to a question that digs a bit deeper. What are your greatest strengths as a leather finishing operations manager?
The classic strengths question.
Yeah.
It's all about showcasing what you bring to the table, right?
It is. But here's the key. Don't just list generic strengths like hardworking or organized. Choose strengths that are directly relevant to the role and supported by concrete examples.
So what kind of strengths would really resonate with interviewers for this specific role?
Think about the skills and qualities we've already discussed. Problem-solving leadership, attention to detail, communication, commitment to safety, and sustainability. Choose 2 or 3 strengths that really shine through in your experience and back them up with specific examples from your career.
So for instance, someone might say, one of my greatest strengths is my ability to identify and resolve production bottlenecks. In my previous role, I noticed a recurring delay in the drying process. By analyzing the workflow and implementing a new scheduling system, I was able to reduce the drying time by 15%, which significantly increased our overall production output.
That's a fantastic example. It highlights your problem-solving skills, analytical thinking, and the positive impact you had on the company.
And RoleCatcher can help me identify which of my strengths are most relevant to the specific job I'm applying for.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI analyzes the job description and highlights the key skills and qualities the employer is looking for. It's like having a personal career coach guiding you on which strengths to emphasize in your answers.
That's so helpful. Now, let's face it, no one's perfect. So how should someone approach the dreaded, what are your weaknesses question?
This one can be a minefield, but here's the strategy. Choose a weakness that you're actively working on improving. Don't pick something that's crucial to the role, and definitely avoid those cliche answers like, I'm a perfectionist.
So what would be a good example of a weakness that's framed in a positive light?
You could say something like, sometimes I get so focused on the details that I can lose sight of the bigger picture. To address this, I've been practicing delegation skills and learning to trust my team members to handle certain tasks independently. It's been a great learning experience, and I've seen improvements in my time management and overall team efficiency.
That's a great example. You're acknowledging a weakness, but you're also showing that you're self-aware and proactive about improving.
Exactly. And it demonstrates your commitment to growth and development, which are qualities employers value highly.
Now let's tackle a question that can really showcase your passion for the leather industry. Why are you interested in this leather finishing operations manager position?
This is your chance to show your enthusiasm for the field, your understanding of the role, and why you're the perfect fit for this specific company.
So it's about more than just saying, I need a job.
Way more. Do your research on the company and their products. What aspects of their work genuinely excite you? Is it their commitment to sustainability, their innovative finishing techniques, their reputation for high-quality leather goods? Weave those insights into your answer.
So I might say something like, I've been following your company's work for years, and I'm incredibly impressed by your commitment to using sustainable finishing methods. I'm passionate about reducing the environmental impact of leather production, and I believe my skills and experience in implementing eco-friendly practices would be a valuable asset to your team.
That's a perfect example. It shows you've done your homework, you're genuinely interested in the company, and you're highlighting how your values align with theirs.
Now, I know RoleCatcher can help with this question too, right?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher can analyze the company's website and online presence to identify their core values and areas of focus. It can also provide insights into the company's culture and work environment, helping you tailor your answer to resonate with their specific brand identity.
That's so cool. It's like having a research assistant working behind the scenes to help you prepare.
Exactly. And remember, this question is also an opportunity to highlight your career goals and how this position fits into your long-term aspirations. You can connect your past experiences to your future goals and show how this role aligns with your professional journey.
That makes sense. It's about painting a picture of your career trajectory and how this position is a stepping stone towards your ultimate goals. Okay, let's move on to a question that can sometimes catch people off guard. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This one's all about assessing your ambition, your career planning, and whether your goals align with the company's long-term vision.
So what's the best way to approach this without sounding too vague or unrealistic?
Be honest and specific, but also show that you're adaptable and open to new opportunities. Focus on how you want to grow and develop within the leather finishing field, and tie your answer back to the skills and experiences you hope to gain in this role.
For example, I might say, in 5 years, I see myself as a highly experienced and knowledgeable leather finishing operations manager, leading a team of skilled professionals, and contributing to the development and implementation of innovative and sustainable finishing techniques. I'm eager to learn and grow within this company, and I believe this role provides a solid foundation for me to achieve my long-term goals.
That's a great answer. It demonstrates your ambition, your commitment to professional development, and your understanding of the potential career paths within the company.
And I imagine RoleCatcher's career guides can be incredibly helpful in mapping out those potential career paths.
Absolutely. RoleCatcher provides valuable insights into the different career trajectories within the leather finishing industry, highlighting the skills and qualifications you need to progress to those senior level roles.
That's fantastic. It's all about being prepared, knowing your worth, and showcasing your passion and expertise.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way, providing you with the tools and insights you need to ace that interview and land your dream job in the leather finishing industry.
You know, it's amazing we've really covered a ton of ground today. From those tricky salary expectations to really highlighting your strengths and even owning those weaknesses, I feel like our listeners out there are going to have a real edge in that interview.
Yeah. You know what I think is so helpful is how we went deeper than just surface level answers. We really dug into the why behind those tough questions and how you can use real examples to show off your expertise and those leadership skills.
And we definitely can't forget how powerful RoleCatcher's AI is. It's like having a personal interview coach and career advisor right there in your pocket.
It really is. RoleCatcher helps you make sure your answers really hit the mark for the specific company and job you want. Plus, it gives you that extra insight into how your career could grow and what's happening in the industry.
So if you're listening out there, remember this. You're going to walk into that interview feeling prepared, confident, and ready to blow them away. But this is just one exciting step in your leather finishing journey.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher is there for you every step of the way, whether you're polishing those interview answers, researching different career paths, or even just staying ahead of the curve. RoleCatcher gives you the tools and knowledge to succeed.
Before we sign off, I want to leave you with this. The leather finishing industry is constantly evolving. What new technologies or trends are you excited to explore? Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing those boundaries. Good luck, you got this!